Why take one vacation with the family when you could take all of them? With Royal Caribbean, you don't just go to the beach. You visit a private island and race down the tallest water slide in North America. You don't just go for a road trip. You ATV and zip line through the jungle. You don't just go somewhere new. You rappel down waterfalls and discover ancient temples. Because this isn't just any vacation. This is all the vacations. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
With threats to our nation waiting around every corner, adaptability is more important than ever. When conditions change without notice, quick strategic thinking is crucial. And with obstacles consistently impending, determination is essential in overcoming them. It's this willingness, decisiveness, and resilience that sets Marines apart. With our fighting spirit, we don't just fight battles, we win them. Marines are the constant our nation counts on to fight the unknown. And through adaptable problem solving, we do just that. Learn more at marines.com.
Survivor 46 is here, and so is On Fire, the only official Survivor podcast, and we have a twist this season. The winner of Survivor 45, Dee Valladares, will be joining us every week.
We're going behind the scenes of the biggest moments, the how and the why things happen, and the strategy and analysis you can only get from someone like me, a Survivor winner.
Listen to On Fire, the official Survivor podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Marion Franklin, a GB canoe slalom athlete.
Yeah, I'm Joe Clark. I am the Olympic champion from Rio 2016.
I'm Joe Fraser, Team GB gymnast.
Hey, my name's Emma Wilson. I'm a windsurfer. I'm really happy to be selected for Team GB for Paris 2024.
This is Anything But Footy, the Olympic and Paralympic podcast. We cover the games all the time rather than once every 4 years. I'm Michael.
And I'm John, and as the countdown to Paris 2024 continues, one of the biggest Olympic and Paralympic events, Aquatics is having its World Championships.
So coming up, we'll hear from the British divers and swimmers already bringing home the medal and booking their places at Paris 2024.
Didn't necessarily believe that it would actually happen for me, so I'm just dumbfounded. I can't believe it.
But honestly, just delighted.
I mean, the strength of British diving at the moment is absolutely incredible.
And talking of medals, Paris 2024 reveal theirs this week. We'll round up the rest of the news from the Games with more medals in judo and para-table tennis, and British cycling comes to the rescue of road cycling in Britain.
So it's that time of year when I wonder which member of Team GB will let me have my selfie wearing their medal. You can always stay in touch with us, see what we're about anytime. You can find us on social media. We're at Anything But F on X. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. You can also find us on TikTok as well. And don't forget as well, check out our website, anythingbutfooty.com. Read all about us there. And coming up later this week, because I've just written it, we have a new blog all about how many people are listening to the radio. So that's something to look forward to. Anyway, let's move on with the podcast. And a place in Paris is very much the focus for Olympians and Paralympians in the coming weeks. In the last episode, we heard from the successful Team GB hockey stars. Now, the British swimming contingent are out in Doha for the 2024 World Aquatics Championships, focusing on quota places and medal-winning performances. It really is a huge event. 2,600 athletes, 201 nations, 75 medals, 6 sports. It's a big marker, of course, on the road to Paris, or the path to Paris, and it's already proving to be successful for British swimming and the Great Britain swimmers and divers. We'll start with Tom Daley. He's back in international competition alongside Dan Goodfellow. You might remember the pair of them won a bronze medal in Rio together, along with Andrea Spendolini-Syriac, Scarlett Mew-Jensen. They won the first World Championships gold for Britain in Doha on the opening day. It was the mixed team event, and it was also the first world title for British diving since Tom won his individual 10-metre title back in 2017.
I was so nervous doing my first dive in international world for 2.5 years, and it was on springboard doing a hurdle stand. Like, I was so terrified, but it feels good to be back out there and competing again, and to do it alongside this team has just been amazing. I didn't quite expect that it was going to be, a gold medal right out the bat, but it's a good way to start the competition.
Amazing there, Michael Howe said how nervous he was. And of course, it was his first international competition for Great Britain since Tokyo, when of course he also won gold as well. Incredible stuff, and great to have Tom and the team back. And history too for Grace Reid, whose final dive in the 1 metre springboard final secured a brilliant silver, in fact from 6th to silver, and the first individual women's medal ever won by a GB diver at a World Championship.
I mean, it feels a little bit surreal at the moment, but honestly, just delighted. I think it's been a bit of a battle the last couple of years, so to be holding this hardware is testament to the amount of work that I've had to put in, and the team behind me, like Team Grace, I can't thank them enough.
And after qualifying 5th for the final, European champion Ross Haslam matched Grace's medal-winning performance too in the men's 1 metre. He bagged a bronze, his first ever world medal.
Honestly, I can't believe it. I felt like I knew I was capable of doing it. Just didn't necessarily believe that it would actually happen for me. So I'm just dumbfounded. I can't believe it, honestly.
How have you turned things around?
I think, honestly, I just tried I used to get so worried about competing so well and put so much pressure on myself in training, and I got to a point where I was thinking, I'm not even enjoying what I'm doing here. So just tried to start enjoying it again, and then with a bit of enjoyment I started to feel things go, things move again, and I was like, okay, hold on, maybe I'm not that bad at diving.
So looking really good already for British divers. There is more to come in the coming days. Make sure you check out our socials. Michael mentioned them earlier for all the details. But there's also been more medals over the weekend for British swimming, with Hector Pardoe winning a brilliant bronze in the men's 10k open water or marathon swimming event in the Old Port in Doha. His third place and Toby Robinson's 15th was enough to book 2 places in Paris for Team GB as well. And a third spot was also secured in the women's 10k, with Leah Crisp finishing 17th. Here's Hector.
Yeah, the emotions were quite high. There was a lot of pressure on me going into this, which I've kind of put on myself, following the path of redemption from Tokyo 2020 with the eye injury. I kind of just wanted to secure the Olympic qualification, and to come out with a medal is even better. I think I was feeling great throughout the whole race. The last lap, I made it happen, followed my tactics perfectly, my strategy. And in Funchal in December, I just missed out on that podium by 0.2 of a second, and I wasn't going to let it happen this time, and I just managed to get my hand on the wall first, and yeah, that's 4th world medal for GBR, and puts us on the map in the open water world, so really happy.
Hector Pardoe speaking there to British Swimming. Interesting as well, you talk there about quota places being booked by British Swimming for Team GB. The gold medal that we mentioned, of course, for Tom Daley, Dan Goodfellow, Andrea Spendolini, Siriax and Scarlett Mew-Jensen. We should probably reiterate that mixed team event is not actually in the Olympics. So fantastic to be world champions, but there's no guarantee, of course, that medal will carry over to be another gold medal at the Olympics, because it's just not an Olympic event. Back, though, with Olympic events, and Kate Shortman, Isabel Thorpe have qualified 3rd for their duet technical final in one of my favourite sports, artistic swimming. The only British representatives in that discipline at these World Championships. That, of course, is another Olympic event. And the women's water polo team, playing at the Worlds for the first time in 11 years. They lost their opening match to Italy, 22-10. But as John said, so much to come in the next fortnight. Stay with our socials for more, and make sure you keep an ear out as well if you're listening to the radio to Talk Sport for updates.
Just before I move on to the Paralympic swimming, Michael, just to say, the fact that Grace Reid came from 6th to silver, Ross Haslam qualified 5th and won a bronze, it also shows that these divers can perform on the day, and when they need to, when that medal is in their grasp, and even when it's not, they can still perform a brilliant performance off the board to grab that medal.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And I think the other thing to say, as far as diving is concerned, is the breadth of contenders that we've now got in this country as well. Because I think, for so long, and quite rightly, we've always talked about Tom Daley, but you look at, other world-class athletes on that programme that could be amongst the medals. And these World Championships already we've seen, and we'll see over the next coming days, how many other names we could be celebrating in the summer. And Andrea Spendolini, Siriax, the likes of Grace Reid, Ross Haslam and others that we've still got to come as well. I think diving and, of course, swimming that we know had a record meet in Tokyo, I think are going to be a real story in the first week of the Olympic Games in Paris. It will be, I think, where lots of the conversations as far as British athletes, Team GB, will be concerned.
Now, it wasn't quite Doha, but Aberdeen staged the City Para Swimming World Series, and there were some spectacular British para performances as well, which was great to see. William Ellard grabbed 2 of the titles in the 100-metre free and the 100-metre butterfly over the course of the 5 days. Megan Neve won her first ever World Series gold in the 100-metre backstroke. Gold 2 for Tony Shaw in the 400-metre free. Louise Finnis in the 200-metre free, and Faye Rogers on the final night in the 100-metre butterfly. It all started with Poppy Maskill winning the first British medal on day 1 in the 100-metre freestyle, which was a silver medal. So well done to all of them and all the other medalists as well who've been in action ahead of the Paris Paralympics this summer.
Paris 2024 have revealed a surprise ticket release will be happening later on this week, apart from the fact they'd rather sport that surprise by telling us to tell you. But, you know, quelle surprise and all that. All sports will be on offer this time from 10 o'clock on Thursday, the morning of the 8th of February, although some will be available in very limited numbers. To access the sale, you need to go to the ticket website. That's tickets.paris2024.org. And less than 6 months to go now before the Paris 2024 Olympics begin. French officials have said almost 500,000 tickets have been sold to Brits. That is the second highest contingent after the French, of course, and it comes as the same time as Paris 2024 will be unveiling their gold, silver and bronze medals for the Olympic Games, again on the 8th of February. It's all happening, all those landmark moments.
How heavy are the medals? Because obviously you've had a lot around your neck in previous games.
Yeah, I don't know, but I will hopefully be able to update you at some point at the end of July, start of August, when some friendly member of Team GB says, would you fancy a picture wearing it? I mean, I don't know if anyone has ever said the word yes quicker.
From the Summer Olympics to the Winter Youth Olympics, and the best ever in Hangwon in South Korea. 14 days, 81 golds, 1,800 athletes, more than 270,000 spectators. The IOC, the International Olympic Committee, say it was the largest Winter Youth Olympic Games to date, and a spectacular finish as well, with Britain once again winning curling gold on the final day. It was like Beijing 22. Callie Suter and Ethan Brewster, the new names, beating Denmark in the mixed doubles. So, and that was obviously the second curling gold of those Winter Youth Olympics as well. And it all came after an incredible free dance routine from Ashley Slatter and Atalonge Perez, who earned Team GB a bronze in the ice dance as well towards the end of those Youth Olympics. It's Great Britain's first medal in figure skating at the Winter Youth Olympic Games, and the first since a certain Torvill Dean in the 1990s at all in Olympic figure skating. So it's great to see these youngsters coming through, and hopefully we'll be talking about them in years to come. So well done all at Team GB. Great job done, including chef de mission Eve Muirhead.
Yeah, congratulations to that young team. And we should mention as well, because I know we're very hung up and talking about Paris inevitably because the Olympics and the Paralympics are this summer. But once that is out of the way, and it will be out of the way sooner than we know, then we are very much into the next sort of cycle towards the Winter Olympics. Yeah. Milan Cortina, of course, will be early 2026. So, you know, whereas you might think 2025 might be a bit of a fallow year as far as Olympic and Paralympic sports concerned, it won't be as far as our winter sports stars are concerned, because we've got the likes of Lewis Gibson and Lila Fear in figure skating. Yep. We're expecting much more from our skeleton athletes this time around, of course. We know that bobsleigh is something that Great Britain have a great tradition in as well. And then all the snow sports, including some of the things like the freestyle snow sport and the big air and everything like that. All those qualification places will be up in 2025. We will be really building towards that Winter Olympics. So, you know, next year, I mean, I don't want to wish 2024 away, but next year is another big year as far as the Olympics and the Paralympics are concerned, as part of that build-up, as I said, to the next Winter Games. They come thick and they come fast.
And it is
anyway.
And it is effectively 2 years to go, isn't it? I mean, it's February 24, so in 2 years' time, we'll be right in the middle of Winter Olympic fun.
This is Anything But Footy, the Olympic and Paralympic podcast. Stay with us as we continue our countdown to Paris 2024. Still not tired of saying it.
Why take one vacation with the family when you could take all of them? With Royal Caribbean, you don't just go to the beach. You visit a private island and race down the tallest water slide in North America. You don't just go for a road trip. You ATV and zip line through the jungle. You don't just go somewhere new. You rappel down waterfalls and discover ancient temples. Because this isn't just any vacation. This is all the vacations. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
This is Anything But Footy, and we're counting down to the Olympic Games. It is Olympic year, and we cannot wait.
British Cycling have stepped in with plans to deliver 2 national tours. I don't think we can underestimate the importance of what British Cycling have done here. They've basically saved the Tour of Britain for the women and the Tour of Britain for the men, both this year and beyond. And, you know, as someone that's covered a lot of road cycling, really enjoys, you know, watching road cycling as well, whether that's the Vuelta, the Giro, the Tour de France. But, you know, in this country, having always covered things like the Tour de Yorkshire and seen the Tour of Britain as well, I think this is an absolutely stellar move from British Cycling to secure these events in the calendar. Those slots that were previously occupied by the Women's Tour and the Men's Tour of Britain will now stay on the calendar. So important, I think. And congratulations to John Dutton, relatively new at British Cycling as a CEO. We know that he was part of the team, led the team that delivered that very successful Rugby League World Cup, and he's continued delivering now with British Cycling. And he said, while we don't underestimate the challenge in front of us, and it will be a challenge, we've been overwhelmed by the support we've received to date. We will continue to work hand in hand with our partners, the cycling community and businesses, to create a sustainable future for our sport, extend our impact in communities, and ensure that the success of our riders across the world is matched by a thriving and diverse portfolio of major events at home. A couple of other points just to raise on this. So important, I think, obviously, in terms of that production line of road cyclists, you know, that we've seen in this country. We know the names, people like Chris Froome and Bradley Wiggins and Lizzie Deignan, who have won the tours and been world champions, and others, of course, that we could mention, like Geraint Thomas and others. But important as well, I think, with John Dutton's background, is he knows how to deliver an event.
Yes.
And he has worked with the right people, as he says there, the partners, whether that's in the media, whether that's commercial partners, whether that's the people that know and are good at staging events. He's worked with those people at Rugby League. So, you know, I think this is a terrific appointment. I applaud everyone at British Cycling for getting these back on the calendar and securing them for the future.
And I totally agree with what you just said, because you think about the World Championships that took place in Glasgow last year and the delivery of that in August, when we had every World Championship taking place. We talk about how big the World Aquatics Championships is, but those cycling championships were immense, last summer, which I think was great to see. And I think also it's great to see a federation that's not just relying on somebody else putting it on. British Cycling is there to encourage people to get on a bike, whether that is down the street or, as you say, to win a gold medal. But what they're doing is that they're saying, we can help, we can do this, and we need that inspiration. I think both Lizzie Deignan and Tom Pidcock, who are Olympic medal winners, of course, have both said how important it is, like the Tour de Yorkshire was for them, and the fact we don't have those events. And it felt like in this country, cycling was going to be a massive event, and these events would really capture the imagination, as I think Glasgow did last year for a lot of people in Scotland and beyond. But it felt like once the demise of the Tour de Yorkshire went away and other events kind of fell away, that we were losing our place, as you say, as a world leader. And I think it's great that it's not just British Cycling sitting there going, well, we'll wait for UK Sport to bid for something. No, we're going to stage these events and we're going to try and make them as important, as you say, as some of the other big calendar events that we all know from around Europe. And that's just to say, it's not just road cycling. British Cycling are looking at a new multi-sport urban event, which would include the likes of BMX freestyle, which of course we know we have a great heritage already in such a young sport in terms of the Olympics, thanks to Charlotte Worthington and Declan Brooks. And they will also conduct a feasibility study study on a new domestic track league concept as well around the Champions League that has been successful and staged in London. We've got so many velodromes around this country that we should be using those, I think, more for these events. And also looking to try and secure the mountain bike and cyclo-cross UCI World Cup rounds as well, which would be great to see. So look, big plans, as Michael said, for British cycling, and a big thumbs up from us.
Yeah, credit to Ed Clancy, who's been leading on a group that have been looking at the future of British cycling. And I think that's a really good idea, actually, about the domestic track league concept, because you've got the velodrome in Glasgow, the Chris Hoy Velodrome. We know there's one in Newport. Obviously, Manchester, Derby, London. I mean, there's 5 that you could, create something there. And it could be packaged up neatly for television. One of the broadcasters could come forward and step in and put that on. And then you start then building that narrative, start telling those stories about those athletes, which is what we've always been about. So when it does come to a World Championships, or it does come to an Olympics or a Paralympic Games, we know who these people are.
Yeah.
And, and that's the way to do it. So, as I said, right at the start, credit to British cycling for really taking the initiative on this and leading with it. So, well done. In other news from the Games, Lucy Renshaw has started the Olympic year with a bit of a bang, beating the top seed at the Portugal Judo Grand Prix, the first event on the 2024 World Tour. Renshaw got into the final to take on Katarina Hector of Australia, and the 28-year-old won the gold. When Hector was awarded a third Shido, that means that she stepped out of the contest area, so she had to basically step aside and let Lucy win the gold medal. Tokyo Olympic medalist Chelsea Giles claimed silver on the opening day of the Paris Grand Slam. Giles, who was competing for the first time since taking a bronze at the Euros back in November, was seeded third. The Olympic champion Distria Krasniki won the gold in the final.
Michael has been saying for a very long time, watch out for British Judo in Paris, and it is going to be spectacular. But there is a new name for you that we've now mentioned a couple of times already in 2024 ahead of the Paris Paralympics, and that is Megan Shackleton, because she's followed up her gold medal winning performance at the US Para Table Tennis Open by taking gold in the Brazilian Para Open in Sao Paulo, and she beat France's Flora Vautier in the final. And I tell you what, if you can beat France in anything this year, you will be doing very well, because they will be investing in those Paris Games like we did with London 2012. And former GB wheelchair rugby captain Chris Ryan, who swapped to table tennis, has reached his first final only 10 months after making his international debut. He won silver in the men's singles in Brazil, and Ashley Facey also won bronze. Megan, Chris and Ashley all then went on to win doubles with various partners from around the world at the weekend as well. So table tennis, the Paralympics, certainly add that to the watch list, Michael.
Yeah, and I noticed Will Bailey posting last week that he was coming off social media now to focus on the Games this summer. So that's where our elite athletes are as far as the Paralympics are concerned. Don't forget, you can always find Anything But Footy on socials. We're there on all the major platforms. You can read our latest blogs and our 2024 sporting calendar on our website, anythingbutfooty.com. And do stay with us as we count down here on one of the best 5 Olympic podcasts globally, as we've recently been awarded that accolade, as we count down to the Paris 2024 Olympic and Paralympic Games.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.